What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you a deck centered around, well, not necessarily centered around, but including Nihilego-GX. Now, before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton, and lets us do more for you guys. And as for the question of the day, what deck are you guys having the most fun using since Crimson Invasion came? Or what Crimson Invasion-based deck have you guys been having the most fun using since the set came out? And by the way, this can be... you can stretch this as far as you want, as long as there are Crimson Invasion cards centered around the central idea of the deck. As you can see, I consider this a Crimson Invasion-based-ish deck, kind of, sort of. And there is a total of one card from Crimson Invasion, being Nihilego, and it's really not even that huge of a part of the deck, but I mean, it's still based around, it's still the center, well, somewhat central strategy of the deck, so I considered it Crimson Invasion. And as for me, I would have to say that while Buzzwole was really fun, this honestly is the most fun deck to use, just because there's so many different ways you can go with it. I mean, you can go with the Darkrai Nihilego route, you can go with the Zoroark route, you can go with just Darkrai, you can go Hoopa. I mean, there's just so many different things that you're able to do with this deck. And by the way, shoutouts to Little Dark Fury, who I originally saw this idea from and decided to do my own take on it. Very, very, very cool idea. That, I mean, go check him out. He has some wonderful ideas and is always uploading some great content. So yeah, got this idea from him, decided to do my own take on it, and that's pretty much what it is. So basically the whole idea with Nihilego, empty light. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may leave both active Pokemon confused and poisoned. Now that may seem awful, and it kind of sort of is, and also you might notice that we're not even remotely attacking with it, although Symbiont GX add the top two prizes, or the top two cards of your opponent's deck to their prize cards. Cool attack, but the fact that it's 3 Psychic makes it relatively difficult to pull off, and then also Lockup just really is not that great of an attack overall. So Nihilego is just very, very, very mediocre, but we are trying it in combination with Darkrai-GX with the Dead End GX attack. If your opponent's active Pokemon is affected by a special condition, that Pokemon is knocked out. So slap a Nihilego down, go into Darkrai, and knock it out. Just easy OHKO with these two, and then if you pair it with Chaos Tower to be able to keep your Pokemon from being confused or poisoned. I mean, you choose which way, and obviously you turn it around. So I mean, you play this side towards you. This player's Pokemon cannot be confused or poisoned, so when you play Nihilego, your opponent's Pokemon is confused and poisoned. You are not, so you are free to take advantage of that and not necessarily have to retreat. So it's a very cool combination, and I'm going to run through the rest of this deck relatively quickly because, I mean, I really want to play this deck, and also I'm a little bit crunched for time, sorry about that. So really the whole strategy, all the main strategies around these two, but we're also using Zoroark because, I mean, it's a dark deck. Zoroark-GX is an amazing mon, not even necessarily, like, you don't even have to run Darkness Energy in order for Zoroark to be great. This is my first time using it, and I already love it and how much I've been testing with it. Trade once during your turn. You may discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw 2 cards. That's nuts. It's just very consistent draw support. Righteous Beating for a DCE does 20 times the number of Pokemon that you have in play. You can very, very, very easily get 6 Pokemon in play total. So for a DCE, you're doing 120 for no drawback. That is nuts. And then Trickster GX, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. You can even use GX attacks. So Zoroark, just insane. And then 210 HP, so it's even one of the bulkier stage 1. So I freaking love Zoroark-GX, and I will say in my testing, I kept thinking that I had 2 of these stand-in Zoroark just because my original version that I tried did run 4 Zorua and 2 of these Zoroarks. So, I mean, that's why there's the Zoroark break. I mean, I probably would have gotten rid of it or not included it if I did just start with 3-3, but I started with 4-4 but decided to cut 1 of each in order to make room for other stuff. So that's, I mean, if I think that I still have 2, that's why, because I originally had 2 of these, but now I'm kind of sort of running out. 3 Zorua and 2-1 of these Zoroarks, just because I felt that's what fit the deck best, and then 1 Zoroark break, just because, I mean, it's still kind of fun to be able to use Foul Play. It's just basically a Trickster GX, but you can't use GX attacks. You still can just use one of your opponent's attacks in order to Choose one of your... Oh, it's active Pokemon, not full Pokemon. Sorry, I haven't used Zoroark Break in a while. And then I'm also including one copy of Hoopa with Scoundrel Guard. I mean, it's a dark Pokemon that functions off dark energy and DCEs that we're running both. This is just kind of a stall tactic, or, well, yeah, stall tactic against GX and EX heavy decks and potential auto wins against those guys if they don't have ways of dealing with it as well. Then we're running 2 Lele because Lele is amazing. And then as for the items, running 1 Field Blower to get rid of pesky Choice Bands, Float Stones for Garbotoxin, that type of thing. 4 Max Elixir to power up our Pokemon as quickly as possible. 1 Rescue Stretcher as our methods of recursion. We're not bothering with energy recursion because we do like having energy in the discard pile thanks to Darkrai. 3 Super Scoop Up to be able to reuse Nihilego and Lele. Not sure how I feel about it, but I actually, not gonna lie, I kind of like it a little bit, just to be able to pick those guys up if you don't need to use them anymore, and also as a way of pseudo-healing other mons. 3 Chaos Tower to be able to use them effectively with Nihilego, and then as for the supporters, 443 of Sycamore and Guzma, just kind of what I'm standard with, and then 1 Brigette so that we can get our Zoruas out as quickly and consistently as possible. As for the tools, 3 Choice Band to boost our damage output, 3 Float Stones, only 3, sorry, mostly for stand-in and retreat with Zoroark, but also, I mean, just free retreat is always nice. 3 DCE, I was running 4 DCE and, sorry, excuse me, I was running 4 DCE and 8 Darkness Energy, but I wasn't hitting Max Elixir enough with 8, and then as soon as I switched to 9, I started hitting them a lot more, so I was like, you know what, 9 Darkness and 3 DCE works well enough, and I always seem to have the type of energy that I want when I need it, so it works out for me. Definitely test out those numbers for you to see what works out best for you guys. So yeah, that is the deck, and let's just go ahead and see it in action. Alrighty, we have got one against a Raptor 877 with a Psychic Grass and a normal deck, so honestly I have no idea what he is running. We do win the coin flip, so we win the coin flip, wow. I just saw the tails and was like, oh, we won it. No, we didn't. We didn't. We did not win the coin flip. That was a coin flip that we indeed did not win. So unfortunately, we are going to go second. That being said, if I get lucky, I can actually pull off a turn 1 Darkrai, but given the hand that I have, it's highly, highly unlikely that I'm going to be able to pull that off. I mean, I'm going to have to get some sort of... Yeah, actually, I don't even think there is a top deck that would allow me to get, like, a perfect setup for the Darkrai. Because I cannot, with this current hand, I cannot get a Dark and a Darkrai in the discard pile, no matter what I top deck. I mean, it would... No, there's not a way. I legitimately do not see a way in which I can top deck out of that. I mean, I do get a Darkness Energy, which is going to allow me to get that in the discard pile. But what I am going to do right here is Ultra Ball, get rid of the Darkness and the Float Stone to grab a Lele. The 2 Darkrai are in the deck. Let's play that down to grab probably an N. I don't want to grab a Sycamore just because that's going to... Actually, you know what? Do I really need stand-in? No. Okay, so the other stand-in is prized, so... Yeah, I'm just going to go with the N. Let's Float Stone up the Zorua, play the Prism Tower just so I can... I mean, if I draw Nihilego, and... If I draw Nihilego, actually, I can knock out this Bulbasaur with Lele. So let's go ahead and do that. And I actually do get cards that are conducive to getting a Lele next turn. Or to getting a Nihilego this turn. So I'm going to get rid of the Darkrai and the Rescue Stretcher to grab the Nihilego. And I actually think... I'm just going to take the knockout this turn. Let's play the other Zorua down. That way I have room for a stand-in and also a trade. So let's go ahead and play the Nihilego, get the poison onto the Bulbasaur, and then with my energy drive, I'm actually going to be able to knock him out with the poison. And yeah, so we're still able to take a turn 1 knockout, which is actually pretty cool, not going to lie. And then I get another Prism Tower. So that's going to be nice late game. And Beedrill, okay, so Prism Tower, actually, both sides are going to be able to work for us in this matchup. So either we will not get paralyzed or we won't get poisoned. Both of those work wonderfully, and what my opponent is apparently running is a Mega Beedrill Venusaur deck, which is honestly really, really cool. Like, I love that idea, and I might use it sometime in the future. And... I mean, he does get a Beedrill and a Beedrill Spirit Link and an Energy. but he will fortunately not be able to do... I mean, he'll be able to get rid of my tool, but otherwise, like, he's really not going to be able to do much of anything at all, and he is going to grab another Bulbasaur. I mean, that makes sense because Venusaur is pretty integral to the strategy. And yeah, I'm just going to go for the double scrapper, get rid of my Float Stone. That is fine. I mean, I would prefer it not gotten rid of, but I mean, if there's something he has to get rid of, then I'm okay with that. And then what I am going to do right here is just go ahead and restore my Darkrai, get the Darkness Energy onto that. That way, if I draw into Max Elixirs or something, then I can work with it. And what I'm going to do here, since my opponent does not have... since my opponent has a low hand and I don't want to give myself just 5 cards, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my second Prism Tower because it doesn't appear that my opponent is playing any Stadiums. Or, I mean, he could be, just no Stadium inherently comes to mind when I think about Beedrill and Venusaur as helping them, so they might just run Stadiumless, and... oh, this is nice. So, unfortunately, I don't get a stand-in Darkrai, but what I do get is, get a Max Elixir, and am I going to hit another one? Yes, I do. So this is working out very nicely. I can attack with Darkrai, and then let's just go ahead and trade. Get rid of the Zoroark Break for 2 cards, and I do get a DCE and a Hoopa. Ooh. So that's pretty nice. But what I think I'm going to do here, Float Stone up the Lele. If I drew my stand-in Zoroark, then I definitely would be going for that. But let's just Float Stone up the Lele, retreat into Darkrai, DCE up my Zoroark, and then let's just go ahead and Dark Cleave, not knock this thing out. I would need a Choice Band in order to do that. But get 130 damage on it, set it up to be knocked out next turn, and then as soon as I get my stand-in Zoroark, I'm going to be able to rush in and retreat, completely nullifying the paralysis caused by Beedrill. And that's pretty much going to be my game plan. I mean, once he's able to get a Mega B up with Venusaur, if he's able to get that, then he will be able to consistently get that thing going and damaging me. Which he does get the Mega Beedrill right now, and an Ivysaur. So this is actually looking very... my opponent's got a good setup. He is going to get rid of... oh, that was a mistake. That was a big mistake by my opponent. Because with my Chaos Tower, I'm actually going to be able to get out of this paralysis. Oh, that's beautiful. So what I'm going to do, make sure I play it on the right side... yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Get rid of my paralysis. Let's see, what do I want to do? Let's energy up the... I want to just energy up the Lele, I might as well. Because I feel like that's going to be something that I can just send in to hit for big damage later if I need. And then I don't want to end my opponent, so I'm just going to trade, get rid of the Hoopa, because that's not going to be doing a whole lot if he has Scizor as an attacker, as another attacker. I get another... okay, can I hit this one? Yes. Wow. I'm lucky on my Max Elixirs this game. Let's start powering up this Zorua, Choice Band up the Zoroark, and then I mean, I'm giving my opponent a fresh hand, but I need a new hand anyway, and I do get my Zoroark. So let's go ahead and play that down. That way I just have the stand-in and retreat. Unfortunately, don't have the Float Stone, but that's honestly okay at this point. And then let's just go ahead and Dark Cleave. Yeah, knock out the Mega Beedrill, take 2 prizes, and Darkrai is poisoned. But I mean, worst case scenario, I feel like I can super scoop it up, and go from there, or I can just like rush it, stand in, and retreat, that type of thing. So no matter what my opponent does, I think I'm in a pretty good spot at this point. We do see a couple Float Stones coming down. If he gets a Venusaur, a Spirit Link, and a Beedrill, he's going to be able to attack and actually knock me out, which would, in all honesty, be okay because I'd be able to just recycle Darkrai once again. And he is going to knock me out with the Pin Missile, which honestly isn't the end of the world. He takes 2 prizes, but like I said, just recycle the Darkrai. I should be able to... actually, I might be able to knock him out. I legitimately might be able to knock him out. So, let's go ahead and go for let's just go ahead and restore Darkrai. So, I mean, this is what I love about Darkrai. Like, okay, my opponent knocks it out, and it is right back with an energy. So all I need to do is hit this Max Elixir, which wow, I'm insanely lucky on Max Elixir this game. And then to attach the energy, and, actually, yeah, because Beedrill only has 160. I want to make sure that this is enough to knock it out. Because with the Choice Band, let's trade. Throw this Darkrai in the discard pile, and also Zoroark plus Darkrai, easy throw into the discard pile. Let's go ahead and Field Blower, get rid of this, and the Float Stone off of Pinsir. And then let's Super Scoop up, see if I can bring up Nihilego, and I unfortunately do not. Well, now I can. So let's go ahead and do that. Retreat into Darkrai. Actually, no. Wait. No. Bad idea. Let's go ahead and play the Nihilego first. There we go. So I might just go for my GX attack. I mean, I can knock it out with a Dark Cleave and a Choice Band, but I want to hold on to the Choice Band for later. I think I'm just going to go into Darkrai. Screw it. Choice Band away. Maybe. Yeah, let's do that. And then Dark-GX. I mean, yeah, I know I'm wasting my GX attack, but, like, I feel like I'm going to be able to win anyway, so I might as well just go ahead and use my GX attack. Like, Dark Cleave with Nihilego. Like, I Nihilego'd into Dark Cleave. That is exactly what this deck is centered around. And I have a big enough lead at this point that I could mess around with it. Like, I could mess around with, making slightly suboptimal, well, not slightly suboptimal, quite suboptimal plays, and I still think I'm going to be able to win just because my deck and because I'm so far ahead at this point. So all I need at this point is a Guzma, and I will be able to bring up Beedrill or Pinsir to be able to win the game. This Venusaur will be a problem if he decides to keep it active, because it's bulky enough that I can't just one-shot it. And luckily, I am less susceptible to end than I would have been because I have traded with Zoroark, but I mean, he's already used his supporter for the turn. And right here, all I need is a Guzma, and I will win the game. So let's just go ahead and try to Super Scoop up one of the Lele's, which I do get. And I mean, I could have tried to trade for it anyway, but at this point, I have the knockout. Let's just go ahead and Lele into that Guzma to be able to bring up the Pinsir. I mean, I would have brought up the Beedrill, but he decided to Mega Evolve. So let's just bring up that Pinsir, go right into Zoroark, and then 110. Okay, we're good. And let's just end this game with a righteous beating. So, I mean, yeah, we did get heads off of the Super Scoop Up, which got us the Guzma, but at the same time, I could have traded, and considering all three Guzma were still in my deck, probably would have been able to draw into one of them, or I feel like I would have been able to. So, either way, that was a pretty solid first game overall. I got to show off what this deck does, and even if I did make a suboptimal play in order to get a Dark End GX after a Nihilego, you know what? We take those. So, yeah, pretty solid first game with Darkrai showing off. Let's go ahead and try to find another one with this deck. Alrighty, we have found another one against Spydrick, maybe, with a Psychic and Normal deck, so this should be interesting to say the least. I'm hoping it's not Garbodor, but let's be real, if it's Psychic Normal and my opponent has the advantage, that means it's probably Garbodor. I do start off with a solid-ish hand. If I can get an energy, then it turns into a solid hand. But with what I have right now, it is simply a solid-ish hand. And considering that I am going to get a mulligan card, I would hope that I can get an energy of some kind. I'm honestly okay with DCE or Darkness Energy, just any energy. I would be okay with getting off of this mulligan or my top deck. And I get a Super Scoop Up, which is not an energy. That's an item, not an energy. So, unfortunately, not starting off with the ideal first hand, but I mean, then again, I don't know what I'm going to draw off my top deck. Maybe if my opponent ends me, I can get end into a better hand. But otherwise, he is just playing a bunch of Float Stones down and then just retreats Eevee. So my opponent clearly has a bad hand as well, and what I can do is I'm just going to immediately bridge it because my opponent has a bad start. So I'm just going to go ahead and take advantage of this with two Zorua. And do I want Hoopa? You know what? Yeah, because my opponent is playing Espeon-GX, I want Hoopa. So let's go ahead and do that. Do I want to provoke the Field Blower? I don't think yet. I think I'm going to want to wait to try to provoke the Field Blower, or at least make him not able to just get rid of all of my tools or stadiums all in just one fell swoop. And my opponent does end me, so maybe I should have played the Float Stones, but at the same time, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it comes down to it, I have 3 Zorua and a Hoopa, which will be nice against this Espeon, and Espeon actually cannot knock me out. Like, he has to use his GX attack if he wants to knock out my Zorua, which, I mean, hey, we take those. I mean, if he wants to waste that, then by all means, be my guest. So he does hit me with a Psychic for a whopping 40 damage, and I do get a Zoroark. So let's play this here. Go ahead and evolve into Zoroark. Choice Band up said Zoroark. Let's go ahead and see if we can hit the Max Elixir, which we do. Play it onto that Hoopa right there. Prism Tower, just try to provoke the Field Blower, and then let's end, see if I can draw into a Nihilego, which will allow me to hit the Espeon, and unfortunately I do not, and I also do not get a DCE, which does not allow me to attack with Hoopa. So what I'm going to do, see if I can hit this Max Elixir, because if I do, then I'll be able to attack this turn with Hoopa, but I do not. And now let's go ahead and trade. Yeah, so I just need to hit a Max Elixir or a DCE in order to be able to attack, and still nothing. So actually what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to Super Scoop up the Zoroark. This allows me to reuse trade, and then just evolve the other one because I have another Zoroark, and then Choice Band up the Hoopa. Let's trade in, see... do I want to just get rid of the Darkness? No, I think I'll just go ahead and get rid of the Zoroark Break. It's not doing a whole lot for me this game, and still no DCE. So unfortunately not able to do much of anything, so I am just going to retreat into Hoopa, energy up the Zoroark. Yeah, I'm just going to do that, and then, you know what, if he wants to attack Hoopa, then he has to retreat into Garbodor. And even then, Garbodor is, I mean, he's doing some damage, he's not doing a whole lot. And yeah, that's how I'm ending my turn. Is not starting off the way I want. And okay, so he goes for Field Blower. Let's see what he gets rid of. Gets rid of the Choice Band and the Chaos Tower. Fine for me. I get to keep my Float Stone on my Zorua, and yeah, he just Psychics into a Hoopa that is going to do nothing to. So I get a Darkness Energy. Not really very helpful. Let's go ahead and just throw the Zoroark Break back in the deck, because it might be nice to go for a Trashalanche later if my opponent decides to do that. So I'm going to play the Choice Band and my Chaos Tower right back down. I'm glad I was able to provoke the Field Blower that I'm able to just immediately take care of, and I do luckily draw the DCE this time. And oh, this works out wonderfully because I can Ultra Ball, get rid of the Darkrai and an energy to grab. While I really, really want to grab the stand-in Zoroark, the play is to go for Lele because I do not have a supporter otherwise. I mean, I do have trade, but that's not necessarily reliable in terms of getting a supporter. So let's just get rid of my Chaos Tower, get that Zoroark Break back. Oh boy. So Zoroark Break is starting to annoy me a little bit. But what I can do is actually go ahead and restore my Darkrai, which I think I'll want to do before my opponent potentially gets a Garbotoxin Garbodor set up, so I at least have something to work with. And yeah, let's just go ahead and Super Psybolt, hit this Espeon for 110. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So only 6 items, which means Hoopa is not going to be knocked out by Garbodor, by Trashalanche Garbodor, which will actually be really nice. Because what he can do there is go into his Garbodor, hit my Hoopa for not a knockout. I mean, unless he has Field Blower. If he has Field Blower, then he'll be able to knock me out. But if he does not have another Field Blower, he'll go into his Garbodor, hit me for 100 damage, I'll retreat my Hoopa into my Zoroark, and be able to just knock out that Garbodor, and then my opponent still has to deal with the Hoopa, while I have a Zoroark active as well that's hitting for a pretty significant amount of damage. Also, I'll need to play a Pokemon down, but Lele's got that covered anyway. So I'm in a good spot despite... Yeah, I'm in a pretty good spot. My opponent actually Acerolas up his Espeon, which loses him 2 turns of attachments. Now, you might be thinking, well, Styx, I mean, he just healed up 110 damage off of his Espeon that he can just get right back by playing the EV down, playing the energy, and being able to just go ahead and energy evolve into an Espeon while having a DCE in his hand. And yes, that's true, but the energy that he's attaching to Espeon was energy that he already had attached, and is energy that he won't be able to necessarily attach. Well, I mean, he'll be able to attach it again, but like those are two attachments that he will no longer have. So I'll be ahead in attachments, even though he can hit the Hoopa, and unless he Guzmas up the Hoopa and knocks it out with another Garbodor, that's the only way he's going to be able to take me out. So what I am going to do right here is just get rid of both Float Stones. I could have done something cheeky right there and gotten rid of my own my own DCE, or my own Choice Band. That way I could retreat my Hoopa out, attach the Float Stone to retreat my Hoopa out for free into Zoroark, but that's just not the play. So I'm already somewhat deep in terms of items. So what I'm going to do is almost attach a Darkrai. I don't want to do that. So let's see if I can bring up Lele just to discard it. And unfortunately, I do not. Actually, I was going to bring up the Zorua, and then play it right back down to see if I can get. Man, I still don't get a stand-in Zoroark. So let's go ahead and get rid of Darkrai. See if I can get that or another Zoroark. Still nothing. Wow. So let's retreat Hoopa into Zoroark. Get rid of that DCE. Because I mean, I can always just play another DCE, get it back, and then let's just Righteous Beating. Knock out the Garbodor, and well, now we're back. So let's get another Guzma. Man, they just do not want me evolving my they don't want me evolving my Zoruas this game, apparently. I mean, I got one, but just cannot seem to get another, because another Zoroark break or GX right now would be huge. Even a stand-in would work out wonderfully. But he will be able to go into his Espeon right now. Not enough items for me to effectively be able to use Trash Lanch. But otherwise, I think I'm in a pretty solid spot. I think. I'm not sure. I think I'm in a solid spot. But if he wants, he can Divide GX, knock out both my Zorua. But at the same time, then he's just getting rid of the two easy prizes, while I still will have a full health Zoroark, full health Darkrai, and he is going to go for the Divide GX. So he's going to knock out this Zorua, probably the other Zorua as well. Yeah, he is just going to go for the second Zorua, and then probably throw 20 damage onto Zoroark to, I guess, weaken it a little bit. Wait. Oh, you know what I think he did? I think he tried to Divide GX onto Hoopa, which doesn't work because Hoopa is not affected by Pokemon GX, even if it's on the bench. So, yeah, my opponent just left 20 damage on the board, which I am 100% going to try to exploit. So let's go ahead and play the energy onto the Darkrai. I can Trickster if I want. Not sure if I want to necessarily. Let's not Guzma just yet. Let's go ahead and end. That way I don't have it later. See if I can get a new hand that I can... Oh, there's a stand-in Zoroark. You decided to show up a little bit too late. But what I can do now is Max Elixir. Don't hit it. I would have been able to attack with Darkrai if I was. But let's just go ahead and get my other Darkrai in. My opponent has two Trubbishes down, and I didn't get an energy. So I'm going to trade. See if I can get another energy. That way I can keep up on my attachments. So let's trade, get rid of the stand-in because I really, like, once my Zoruas are gone, I really don't need it anymore. And oh wait, I already played. I'm dumb. I already played my energy for the turn, but I do have this for next turn, for Darkrai, and I can play Nihilego down. But I might want to save it. I think I want to save Nihilego for when I'm able to, use Darkrai's GX attack to one-shot an Espeon later in the game. I think that might be how I win the game. So I want to play it, but I don't think it's time. I want to save it for a turn where Nihilego is the difference between me getting a knockout and me not. Because either way, I would not be taking a knockout this turn. And Zoroark's going to be two-shotting the Espeon anyway. Like Zoroark, Hoopa, Darkrai, they're going to be two-shotting the Espeon regardless of whether or not this attack does 20 more damage. So I'm just going to go for that. And unfortunately, he does get the Garbotoxin up. And we have to see if he... What's he going to go for? He's probably going for a Lele. But if he's able to get the Garbotoxin up, then that's going to actually put a little bit of a... hamper in my plans. And he is Leleing right here. Maybe N, maybe Sycamore. I would think Sycamore, because you have a hand of 0, and also I have a hand of 5, and I'd be getting a hand of 5 anyway. So he is going to Sycamore. That is the right play, and Espeon is probably just going to try to hit me for... Ooh, Choice Band. That's going to hit me for a good amount of damage. And Choice Banding up... That's dangerous. He Choice Banded up the Garbotoxin Garbodor. I can potentially just bring that thing up and try to stall. I mean, granted, that'd be leaving me susceptible to Guzma. But now that he shut off my abilities, means I'm going to be relying on supporters. I won't be able to trade. I won't be able to use Lele at all. And he does just go into his Garbodor and hits me with the Trash Lance. So that's interesting. Does 200 damage. Like, just misses out on the knockout. That's insane. Let's power up Darkrai, and I'm getting Zoroark out of dodge completely. Like, that's a no-brainer. Like, Zoroark is getting out of there. Do I want to Choice Band my Darkrai? If I Choice Band, then I can knock out Lele with Nihilego, but that also means that I have to get rid of the Choice Band off of his Garbotoxin Garbodor, which could be a little bit trickier than I thought. But what I am going to do right here is just go into my Darkrai, force him to Guzma up my Darkrai, because right now he does not have a knockout on board. Like, he has to promote Espeon, which puts him in danger of being knocked out by Darkrai next turn. So he has to promote Espeon in order to attack, which he is going to. So in order to attack, Espeon has to be out. And if he wants to try to knock out Zoroark, he has to Guzma. But if he does that, then Darkrai just comes right back with an immediate knockout, and then he has to deal with a completely fresh Darkrai in order to be able to try to win the game while I'm still able to attack. And he does end me, so I probably should have played the Choice Band down just so that's one less card I can draw. But I mean, I'm still getting 4 cards. Like, I'm still getting 4 cards off this. And again, not quite enough to be able to knock him out. Or not quite enough to be able to Trash Lance. And I mean, he'd have to also, you know, have Trash Lance in order for me to be able to copy that with Zoroark's GX attack. And he is just going to go for the Psychic. That's going to do a pretty nice chunk of damage. 160, wow. That Choice Band, can't underestimate it, man. But what I think I'm going to do here, well, let's Super Scoop up. See if I can bring something up, heal off some damage. Not sure what I'd necessarily bring up. Maybe Hoopa? No, because Hoopa still gets knocked out. Actually, I might, because his only attackers would be GXs. Actually, you know what? Let's bring up Zoroark, because Zoroark is heavily damaged, but I can just play that thing right back down. And yeah, I am losing a couple attachments, like the way he played Acerola last turn. But at the same time, like now, Zoroark and Hoopa are both right near being... Zoroark and Hoopa are right near being... attached to be able to attack. That I phrased that so badly. Sorry about that. And I do get my other Zoroark-GX. So it's been hiding there the entire time. But Darkrai does get an attack. If he knocks me out, then good on him. I immediately have a Zoroark. I'm forcing my opponent to have an N in order to be able to disrupt my hand, and even so, I still have Sycamores, I have Guzma, I have plenty of stuff, and my opponent's Ultra Balling, so he cannot end me out at this point. Because, I mean, he's going to Lele, but he has abilities shut off. Like, all abilities are locked right now. Thanks to Garbodor. Well, thanks to his Garbodor. So, I'm honestly in no rush. So, what I can do is, first things first, let's get Hoopa powered up because... Or do I want Zoroark? He's going to have to be attacking with GXs. And Zoroark can hit consistently. Hoopa hits for 80 and 110. Well, I mean, first, I'm going to go ahead and evolve into Zoroark because, I mean, you know, extra bulk. But do I want to attach to Zoroark or Hoopa? I think Zoroark, just because it's... Yeah, I think Zoroark because it's fresh enough that it can take a hit even if my opponent's able to get like a confusion, and also has the free retreat. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and bring up his Lele, bring out my Zoroark, retreat back into Darkrai so that Dark Cleave can do the maximum amount of damage. Because, I mean, Dark Cleave would do more than Righteous Beating. And now I have a second Guzma in my hand, so even if he's able to retreat, I will be able to bring that thing right back up and then knock it out with Zoroark, with Hoopa, with Darkrai. I have too many attackers right now for him to deal with, and he does just scoop right there, so we are able to win the game off of that. And, ooh, we get a pack, that's nice. But, yeah, that was a very intense game. Unfortunately, Nihilego didn't get to do anything in this one, but the thought was there. It was definitely there. He just kind of got a Garbo-Toxin right when I was about to, so there's that. But regardless, hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.